Hello, I'm Dave and this is Logan, out once again for a walk in the New Forest. Thanks for joining us. Now today we're in some woods just to the southeast of Fritham, which is a little hamlet in the New Forest located to the west of Cadnam, which is just off junction 1 of the M27. And we're going to be doing a roughly 6-mile walk eastwards through some magnificent woodland. We'll be looking at the historic Rufus Stone, the Iron Age hillfort at Malwood Castle, and hopefully some other interesting things along the way. Well, as you can see, we're pretty well wrapped up. I'm filming in November, bitterly cold morning, but the sun is out and hopefully we're going to get some great autumnal colours. Been a lot of rain recently, so it might be a bit damp underfoot, but it should be a great day for a walk anyway. Do come along with us. Well, I've parked my car at the Forestry Commission car park at Janesmoor Pond. Speaking of which, that's just behind me here. Looking quite full this time of year. Normally you'd see quite a few ponies and cattle gathered around, but they're still tucked away in bed, I expect, this morning. Just over to the right, that's the outskirts of Fritham. But we're going to kick off by initially heading southwards. I'll tell you what, it's one of those really fresh mornings, probably only about 4 or 5 degrees, but lovely to be out. So I've made my way southwards to the the entrance to the Long Beech camping site, and that's where we're going to start heading eastwards. Just behind me here is the Stony Cross Plain, vast open area that of course was once the RAF airfield back in the Second World War. We've done a few walks over there, so if you haven't seen those videos, do check them out. Right, we need to keep moving. Well, it really is quite enchanting in these woods. So I've got the Long Beech Enclosure on my right, a very old one. It was established in the 1770s, some gorgeous oak trees, and then on my left is King's Garn Gutter Enclosure, a little bit younger, the 1860s. I love coming into the forest at this time of year. The colours really are quite exquisite, especially on a sunny day. All those goldens and yellow colours. Be interesting to see what it's like the further we progress, because it's been a funny old year weather-wise. We had a really long hot summer. In fact, I think there was a drought recorded at one stage, and a lot of the trees dropped their leaves a little bit early, so it'd be interesting just to see what effect it's had on them. Now we are in the autumn proper, as it were. We've now got to cross over Colmeer Gutter, which is in full flow now, often dries up in the summer. Its source is from springs to the south, and then it joins King's Garn Gutter in the north to become the Cadnam River, which in turn joins the River Blackwater, which in turn joins the River Test, which then flows out to sea at Southampton. But there is a little ford there that we can cross. Well, I'm wearing a relatively new pair of walking boots today, and I wasn't 100% sure if they were waterproof or not. They're not. Well, some of these colours and shades really are quite stunning. So peaceful today as well. Although we have come across quite a few squirrels. But I think it's the variety of the golds and browns and yellows that you get. And of course the bracken is dying off now, and that's got its own particular shade of brown. Well, we've made our way to the Sir Walter Tyrrell pub, which unfortunately isn't open at the moment. I'll tell you who Sir Walter Tyrrell was shortly, but it's a lovely pub. It's not as old as it looks. It was actually built in the 1930s, and it used to have a thatched roof. The original pub was actually to the side, just to the south of it over there, that brick building. It shows on an 1896 map as a beer house, and it was known as the Stump, as the landlady apparently had a wooden leg. Well, we've made our way to the iconic Rufus Stone, which is just behind me here, the alleged spot where William II was killed by an arrow on a hunting accident on the 2nd of August 1100. He was the son of William I, or William the Conqueror, who of course established the whole area around here as a royal hunting ground, what we call today the New Forest. Anyway, the story goes that William II, or Rufus as he was known because of his ruddy complexion, he was out here with his team hunting deer and wild boar, and an arrow was shot at a stag by a Frenchman called Sir Walter Tyrrell, the king's best archer, and the arrow struck an oak tree, ricocheted off the tree into the chest of Rufus, puncturing his lung and killing him almost instantly. Anyway, whether it was an accident or not, Sir Walter hot-footed it off to Normandy pretty sharpish because, well, he didn't want to be accused of murder. As it happens, no one actually chased him because, well, Rufus wasn't that popular. Apparently he was a bit of a barbarian and not particularly liked by the locals. Indeed, no effort was actually made to recover his body, and it was left to a local charcoal burner called Purkis to load the body onto a cart and carry it to Winchester Cathedral, where a low-key burial took place. Well, was it murder or was it an accident? No one can be 100% sure, but interesting that Rufus's younger brother Henry, who went on to become Henry I, got crowned within a matter of days. In fact, he managed to nab the crown before his elder brother Robert of Normandy could get it. Indeed, there's some debate as to whether his death took place at this spot or not. Some historians suggest it might have happened further south at Bewley, where there is a memorial stone there as well. The original Rufus Stone was erected in 1745 by John Lord Delaware. This one, which is actually made of iron, was erected by William Sturgis Bourne in 1841. The original was defaced and vandalised, and indeed the original oak tree, I suspect, is long gone. But whatever the story, it's good for tourism, and there's a handy car park nearby. Okay, well, we're going to leave Rufus Stone now and going to head towards Malwood Castle. Now, it is a bit of a detour, so what I'll do is I'll put up a suggested walk route if you didn't want to do the trip to the castle. The only reason I say that, it's another mile and a half or so, and basically we're going to be going through woodland, and yeah, it's going to take us through circumnavigate round Malwood Farm and then go underneath an underpass under the A31 to get there and come back. We're going to have a lot of fun doing it, a lot of exploration, but it's not always a straightforward route to follow. So I said I'll give you both options. Well, we've finally made it to the underpass. I've had a little bit of a detour. I thought there was a more direct route to it, but in fact I've had to, well, completely circumnavigate Malwood Farm. So probably added another, might be as far as a mile. Fantastic walk, but in real deep woodland. Anyway, let's go onto the underpass. Now the reason that I've made this massive detour is to show you what remains of Malwood Castle. Now it's not actually a castle, but an Iron Age hill fort that stands at the top of Malwood Hill, and well, there's not a great deal to see. It's basically a double ring fort with the outer ring mostly intact, and that's what we can see here. The total area covers about 1.5 hectares. And there are basically two large parallel banks up to about 2 meters wide and 2 meters high, separated by a shallow ditch. I think it's then flanked by a second outer ditch up to 9 meters wide and 1 meter deep. I think the entrance is to the west, but the inner circle is actually in private grounds, and in fact just over the top of the bank you can see the top of a house just about. That's Malwood Lodge that was built in the inner circle of the fort in the late 19th century by a chap called Sir William Harcourt. He was a lawyer and politician. I think he was Chancellor Exchequer in 1886. In fact, I was reading he was responsible for the reform of death duties in 1894. Anyway, the property there was sold in 1947 and divided into flats. It was bought by the Forestry Commission in 1975 and sold to developers in the 1980s. And I think a major refurbishment then took place, and it's now 17 homes. As I say, there's not a great deal to see here, but the outer bank is quite easily identifiable. Anyway, let's head back, get away from that busy road and get out into the sunshine again. Lovely day for a ride. Yeah. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Well, just a little update on the route for those folk that might be doing the walk after seeing the video. We've done our sort of detour to the Iron Age hill fort and made our way back to the Rufus Stone, headed southwards, and we've now picked up one of the cycle tracks that goes through the forest. So we're going to be heading in a westerly direction with Stricknage Wood to the north. Well, a little pit stop just to take in this quite breathtaking view looking to the north. Isn't that quite exquisite? Well, I've just come off the the cycle track to the north of it. I was trying to find something called Stanlidge Pond. I don't think it's you know, a historic pond. It's just one of those ponds that appears on very old maps. But I'm not sure if this is it. I mean, it doesn't look very substantial, does it? But, well, it's the only pond that I can see around here, so it could be it, or on the other hand, it might not. Well, this little shot really does show the variety of autumnal colours. You've got that light green of the crab apples, the red berries of the holly behind, and then just to the right, what's that, silver birch, and the leaves now turning gold, and of course the brown of the bracken. Beautiful scene. Well, a New Forest walk wouldn't be a New Forest walk without a New Forest pony, although that young lady has got a winter coat already. Well, there's a couple underneath the trees as well. I remember when I used to have my horse, I used to love coming out in the autumn. Well folks, we're nearly at the end of our walk, just the last bit back to Janesmoor Pond, and then we'll head to the Royal Oak pub in Fritham for a pint of local ale and a bowl of piping hot soup. We hope you enjoyed the walk. If you did, please do give us a thumbs up and a like, and do leave a comment, and do check out our Facebook page, Dave's Countryside Walks. We've had a quite a gorgeous late autumnal walk, and the weather has been spot on. So until we meet again, thanks for watching, and cheerio. He's ready for a snooze already.